Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katarina and I'm the person behind by Katarina Designs, and today we have a tutorial. Last week I published a video showing you the stitch that I'm using for the current sweater design that I'm working on right now, and I was telling you that last year I was trying the stitch pattern with different smaller projects, including a pair of slipper socks. So in this video I want to show you how to make this slipper socks using the cable stitch pattern, but I want to share with you how I'm making this, how I'm measuring to make this the socks. So basically, you will be able, with all the tips that I will share with you, you will be able to make a pair of socks in any stitch pattern that you want. During time, since I'm crocheting, since I'm a crochet designer, I made a couple of pair of socks. Some of them are wearable, let's just say, but most of them are like slippers to wear in the house, because usually crochet tend to be a little bit thicker than with knitting, or you can use a super thin or maybe sock yarn and work smaller stitches to get that wearable socks that will fit actually into your shoes. So anyways, any type of yarn that you would like to use or any stitch pattern that you would like to use, you'll be able to apply this technique that I will share with you, and you can make a pair of socks. Now let's get into the socks. Okay, so I have here a foot sketch, and I will try to explain to you how you can measure your foot or your children's foot to make a pair of socks. I do believe that in terms of socks, there is difficult to size a pattern, because either if you're wearing the same shoe size, maybe our foot is wider or narrower. So now the first thing, you will have to measure the circumference of your foot, and I do recommend to make a gauge swatch into the stitch pattern that you are about to use, because this will help you to calculate how many stitches you will need to cover the circumference of your foot. But I know that for a small projects is kind of tedious to make first a gauge swatch, so you can try to the chain method. So simply make a chain as long as it will cover your foot circumference, and this is how you'll know with how many stitches or how many stitches you'll need to have for the foot circumference. We will start to build these socks from the toes, and we will work a circle in single crochet stitches, and we will stop with increases when we reach the amount of stitches that we need for the foot circumference. But pay attention, if you decide to go for the chain method, usually we tend to chain a little bit tighter than how we work our regular stitches. So maybe you will try to crochet that stitch looser, or work a few single crochet rows, just to make sure that your tension is the one that you will have for the rest of the sock. Now that we have the number of stitches that we need, or the circumference of our foot, we will begin to work circle in single crochet stitches, and we will work those increases until we reach that number of stitches. Then we can change the stitch pattern if you want. In this case I will go for the cable stitch pattern, but of course that you can use either also single crochet stitches or a different stitch pattern that you would like to work. And we will work in the round until we reach the length of our foot, here up to the point where our leg starts to go up. So here we will start with working in circle, And then we will work we will continue to be working the length of our foot until we will cover and we will get to the heel. And for this section here, we will use a proportion. So no matter what stitch pattern you have or what tension you have or the weight of your yarn, I will give you some proportion to calculate on how many stitches you will need to have here. Yes, so to work only the bottom part of our sock. Then we will go up and build our heel. Also just in single crochet stitches, so this section of the heel will be only in single crochet stitches. And we will do some decreases. I will show you right away. Here this section is also proportional, so I will give you how to calculate the number of stitches that you will need to go with. And after we complete this length is not that you can, it depends on the number of stitches that you have, because we will do some decreases over there. So here you will go until you finish the number of stitches that you have, because we will do some decreases on each side, picking up the stitches. And then we will join in the round again. And most probably we will have more stitches than the number of stitches that we started with, so we will have to do some decreases. And then we will go up into the stitch pattern that we choose for the sock until we reach the desired length. At the end of the length, we can add ribbing if you want to finish off the sock, or of course maybe a tie or something else. Now here is one of the socks that I already worked on. I'm using a DK weight yarn, and I will be using a 4mm crochet hook for the main stitch pattern and a 3.5mm crochet hook for the ribbing. So as I said, you will have to measure your foot circumference and see with how many stitches or how many stitches you will need to have for that one. And for this specific stitch pattern we will need a multiple of 4. So I measured, I calculated, and I will need 28 stitches for the foot circumference. And I will start with the magic circle, and I will work a circle in single crochet stitches, and I will increase until I will have that number of 28 stitches. We will start with magic ring right away. And I will chain 1, and then into the circle I will work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Usually you are starting the magic ring with 6 single crochet stitches, but because I will need 28, so it's a multiple of 7, I started with 7 stitches. Now we join with a slip stitch, and we will work for the second round 2 stitches, 2 single crochet stitches into each stitch. And by the end of this round we will have 14 stitches. We will close the round with a slip stitch, and now chain 1. And the pattern for the third round will be 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet in next. So again we will increase with 7 stitches, so we will have 21 stitches at the end of this round. So depending on the multiple that you will need at the end of this toe, you can start with a different number of stitches or adjust the number of stitches along, so in the end to have the number of stitches that you need for your foot circumference. Okay, now we will chain again, and the pattern for this will be one increase, one single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So one increase, one single crochet in next 2. Again, we are increasing with 7 stitches, so by the end of this round we have 28 stitches. So now I have the number of stitches that I will need, and I will chain 1, and now I will single crochet into each stitch around. If you want, you can work as many rows as you wish into the single crochet pattern, depending on how wide you want this toe section to be. So I worked one more row, and now I'm starting to work in double crochet stitches, and my beginning stitch will be this 2 single crochets stuck together. So now we are starting to build our pattern, our cable sock pattern. So from this point you can start to work into the desired stitch pattern, or if you want, you can work a few more rows in single crochet stitches if you would like to. Okay, I finished the row in double crochet. So I'm joining with a slip stitch into that first stitch that I made. And now I do like to chain 1 and turn and work my single crochet rows, because this cable stitch pattern is 1 single crochet and a round, and then the cable pattern. And I will work the single crochet rows on the wrong side, but this is just my personal preference, because I do want to have those stitches, those cables not moving to the right. Usually when you are working only on the right side, your joining line tends to go to the right. So now I will turn, and I will begin my round with the same stuck single crochet. So this is the first stitch over here, and I will go with this beginning stitch. You can also chain 2 and make a double crochet, or as you wish. Now we will skip this next double crochet, and we will go with the front post triple crochet into the next stitch, or around the next double crochet. Then again, front post triple crochet around the next double crochet, and another front post triple crochet, but crossing the 2 that we already worked and working it around the skipped double crochet. And now I'm counting the stitches on the back to have 3, and into the 4th I will go with the double crochet stitch. Now we will skip the first double and the second, and go with a triple front post triple crochet around the next, again around the next one, and the third we will cross it and go into that second skipped double crochet. The first skipped double crochet is actually the separating regular double crochet that we have in between the cables. Again, 1 2 3, and go into the 4th with a double crochet. And now we will repeat this to the end of the round. Second triple, and a third, and I'm going with the regular double crochet. Okay, now we will repeat to the end of the round. I have here the last cable to work. Okay, and I will join with the first double crochet stitch. And this is the first cable row. I will chain one and turn, and then I will work one single crochet into each stitch around. Join with a slip stitch into the first single crochet, and I will turn and work that one single crochet on top of the other. And let's see how we will work the cables right now. So the first front post triple crochet, we will go around the middle triple crochet, the middle one, then we will go with the second into the third, which is that crossed front post triple, and with the third we will cross and go into that first or around that first front post triple crochet from the cable, and then we will go into the double crochet stitch or the corresponding single crochet for the double crochet stitch, and we will continue all around. Okay, I finished this cable row, and now we will go for the single crochet around, and we will work until we have that length from up to where the leg begins. You remember from the previous sketch that I was explaining for. I worked in total 12 rounds. I'm counting only, you'll see on the wrong side that it's easier to count the double crochet stitches. So if I'm going further and counting all the rounds, you multiply them by 2. So we will continue to work, but our last round needs to be this cable stitch, so not a single crochet stitch. And now the total, we will work the heel. We will continue to build up the heel. So we will have to divide the total number of stitches by 3, and we will have 2/3 for this heel section. So I will have 18 stitches because 28 divided by 3 is 9.33. So I will work 18 stitches. So I will work in single crochet stitches, only 18 stitches, then we will turn. So we will work this section flat. And we will have to work as many rows as we need until we complete the length of our foot. So we get into that end of our heel. I will work in total 12 rows in single crochet stitches, And I will suggest to keep an even number of stitches of rows for this section. It will be easier when we will have to switch again to the cable stitch pattern. Yeah, so I turned chain 1 and then again a single crochet, and we will meet back again at the end of this portion. But let me show you exactly which is this section. So is this one over here, and you will have to work as many rows as you need until you complete the foot length. Now I placed 2 stitch markers over here. We will divide again the number of stitches that we have for the heel by 3, and we will allocate 1/3 for the back of the heel. So I will have 18 stitches divided by 3 is 6. Now we will begin by working single crochet stitches until we will get to the second stitch marker. So I'm removing the first stitch marker and work the single crochet, and don't forget to place again the stitch marker into that stitch. Then continue with the single crochet stitches until you get to the second stitch marker. And now, because we need to go up with the heel, so we are working the section that is up behind our foot into the next two stitches after the second stitch marker. We will work 2 slip stitches, and then we will skip those 2 slip stitches, and we will work the number of stitches for this heel. So I have 6, or until the next stitch marker. So here is the last stitch, and now after working the last stitch, so the last stitch marker, we will work 2 slip stitches again. And then we will turn, skip those 2 slip stitches. That's why it's easier to have those stitch markers, because you can see where you should go with your first stitch. Then again, we will work 6 single crochet in my case. And then again, 2 slip stitches, or 1 slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. Turn and repeat, and see how it's already getting up. And we will have to continue this until we don't have any side stitches. Yeah, so we decreased all those stitches. 1, 2, turn again, skip those slip stitches and work the single crochet. So I had in total 6 stitches on each side if I'm decreasing with 2 stitches per each row. So I have 12 stitches to decrease in total. So this means that I had to work 6 rows until I finish this side stitches that I have, and my heel is up. Okay, here are the last 2 stitches that I have to skip. And if we are looking right now, from the number of stitches that we start with, we have those side rows that we have there. And because right now we will begin to work into continuous rounds. And I will start because my last round of the foot length was in the cable stitch pattern. So I will turn on the other side and I will begin working one round all around in single crochet stitches. And we will also work single crochet stitches across or on top of the side rows of the heel, and back there we will work one single crochet into each side row. Okay, so we will go nice on top of those side rows. So now definitely we will have more stitches. So we have 9 stitches on the front, 9, 18, 10 stitches on the front of our foot. Then if we calculate, we will have 12 side rows because this is the length of the heel and this is 28, so 34. And with 6 stitches that we have at the back of the heel, I will have in total how much did I say? 24, 34, 40 stitches. And I began with 28 stitches for the circumference. So definitely I will have to make some decreases because otherwise it will be too wide. And I do suggest to work those decreases on each side of the foot. But we will figure out how to make those decreases after we will begin working with the cable stitch pattern. This here is important to have also to know how to place those cables to keep the same pattern. Okay, now we will try to figure out where we started our row, our round. I do suggest to place a stitch marker into that first stitch because the back of the heel is also worked in single crochet stitches and might be difficult to find where that is. So now I will chain 2 and turn, or work that one single crochet on top of the other as the beginner stitch. And where we don't have cables yet, work on top of them, we will work double crochet stitches. So again, I will wait with my decreases until I will figure out where the cables need to lay, especially where I don't have yet cables. So I will go with double crochet stitches, and when I will reach the point of the cables on the front of the sock, I will start working the cables. And with my next cable round, I will figure out. So if I can see here, I have the cables. 1 2 3. Here I will have a double crochet. Here is the point where we will need to decrease. So on this first corner over here. But as I said, you can wait and work this round as it is, and then when you're starting working the cables, you will figure out how to make this decrease. I just worked 3 stitches together over here to begin with, but it's not a problem if you, especially if you are working another stitch pattern than single crochet stitches, to wait until you see how your stitches will lay, and then you will be able to work those stitches. Now I'm on the front of the leg and I can work the cables as they are. Okay, so I will have one more over here. Okay, now I will have the double crochet stitch after the cable. Here I'm back at the corner where I should decrease again, but I will decide to work this last cable over here. Although, as you can see, is basically one of the stitch from the cable is into the heel section, but I will work this cable over here. Like this, the third stitch. One, two, three. I have the double crochet over here, but I will do again 3 stitches together to make the other corner stitch or decrease. And now we will continue with the double crochet stitches to the end of the round. And at the end of the round, we will slip stitch into the first stitch. And we will chain one, we will have to chain one and turn and work single crochet stitches. Now I'm counting the stitches to see how the cables will lay on my next cable round, because I need to match this the stitches with the cables. But first I will work the single crochet round. And after we finish the single crochet round, we need to look at the stitches and see how they will lay for the cables. And what I'm basically doing, I will count from the cables and see how should I begin the row. So I needed to go with the stitch behind to be able to work my first cable, so to make it and match the cable pattern that I have on the front of the sock. But don't worry if you're getting into that corner before the first cable and you realize that you have, for example, more double crochet stitches than one between your last cable that you work and your next cable. You can work that stitches together, that double crochet stitches together, and make another decrease. So it's not a problem. You can play around with the stitches. This is when you are working with a different stitch pattern and beginning from single crochet. You will need to make it work if you're working with more stitches than you started with. Okay, let's work one more cable over here. Let's see, so now in the corner over here I have exactly one stitch, but if you have more than one stitch, so you still don't have a multiple of 4 stitches, you can still make decreases in the corner. With all the decreases that I made, I still have more stitches than I started with, but I don't mind because I don't think that you should be on the length of the sock on the leg. I think it should be a little bit wider than you started with. But anyways, you can still make decreases if you feel that you have more stitches, if you don't have a multiple of 4. So you can still go, and in those corners you can make decreases. So now I work to the end of the row. I still have one more double crochet over there, but I will skip it and slip stitch to have the required number of stitches. Or I can simply go with one more, not to have a gap over there. But when I'm starting, I will skip it or work 2 single crochet together over here at the beginning to make sure that I will get rid of that stitch. So again, I had in total 10 stitches, 12, 24, 34 stitches, 40 stitches in total. The 40 stitches was a multiple of 4. I worked 3 stitches together, so get rid on each corner. So I kind of decrease with 4 stitches and remained with 36 stitches, which was still a multiple of 4, but still wider than my foot. But I went with this number of stitches until the desired length of my sock. Now, because I worked these 2 socks with 1 skein of yarn, so I wanted to make sure that I will have enough yarn to finish both socks. So I worked, I think, 12 rows in total, so 6 if you're counting only the double crochet, the cable rows. And now we will begin to work the ribbing. The ribbing will be front post, back post, double crochet stitch. But on the first round of the ribbing, because I wanted to continue the cable stitch pattern, so I'm working into the cables, the front post and back post triple crochet stitches. So I went right into the first stitch of the cable with front post triple. Around the second, I will go with a back post triple. Then around the third stitch of the cable, again with a front post triple, just to, and then around the double crochet stitch with the back post triple. And this is just because I wanted to look like the ribbing is continuing the cable stitch pattern, but you can also work one first round in double crochet stitches, and then you can start the ribbing stitch pattern with one front post double crochet, one back post double crochet into those double crochet stitches. So basically my first round of the ribbing is in front post, back post, triple crochet stitches, just to be able to work those cable or those front post stitches and back post stitches around the cables. So now that I finished this round, and by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm working this final ribbing using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. And now starting with the second row, we will simply go with front post, back post, double crochet stitches. And of course that we will repeat this round until you will get to the desired length of your sock. Okay, and here they are. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you will try to make this cute little slipper socks. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you'd like to try it and make a pair of socks because yeah, the season is coming. I already feel like, at least especially in the morning, my feet get cold, and also in the evening. So to have a pair of nice crocheted slipper socks will be perfect. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you next time. Bye.